back porch with his backpack bawling. I put him in the car with me. I took him home. I called Mr. Sims the next day and I told him that this.
Enjoy the video. Hit the like button.
Hey, Joey?
Yes.
All right, we're on the record in cause number DF1717189. Councils, will you please announce for the record?
Jessica Lester on behalf of Christopher Sims.
Sarah Blackstock here for Paige Cox.
All right, and those who intend to testify, would you please remove yourselves off of mute and raise your right hands? Do you all swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may lower your hands. All right, we're here today on a motion for enforcement brought by Mr. Christopher Sims in regards to possession and access. Prior to going on the record, there were some exhibits that were pre-admitted. They will be admitted at this time. So movements 1 through 9 are admitted, and respondents 1 through 3. Respondents 5, 6, and 7 are also admitted. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You all are set here for an enforcement. You'll receive 15 minutes per side. That will include any opening and closing statements, should you all choose to make one, as well as any examination. We also discussed the sharing of the screen. It's not necessary for me. However, if you would like to point out something specific for your attorney, you're more than welcome to do so. Attorney Lester, would you like to make an opening statement?
Your Honor, yes, I'd make a very quick one. We're here.
Okay.
We're here for an enforcement action on custody control regarding a child. Sims, on behalf of the father, just an overview of the order. It's a joint managing conservatorship with mom, exclusive rights to designate the child's primary residence in Dallas or contiguous counties. Our violations are listed, one being mom moved outside of Dallas or contiguous counties. She resides in Hunt County. And Mr. Sims has been denied possession and access to his child. That's my entire opening.
Thank you, counsel. Attorney Blackstock?
I'll waive for now.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Lester, you may call your first witness.
I'd like to call Christopher Sims, please.
All right, you may proceed.
Hi, Chris. So you just real quick, you recognize Ms. Cox as mother of the child, and she's present in the virtual courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, I'd like to also take judicial notice, Your Honor, of the file, please.
Yes, the court takes judicial notice of all contents of the court's file.
Okay. Now you're familiar with the order that is from 2021. This is an order that you and Ms. Cox agreed to. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in that order, are y'all joint managing conservators in that?
Yeah.
Order?
Yes.
And you were on a standard possession schedule. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Ms. Cox was the parent to designate the primary residence, which was to be in Dallas and contiguous counties.
Yes.
To your knowledge, does Ms. Cox live in Dallas or a contiguous county?
No, she does not.
Where does she live?
I'm not sure the county, but Wills Point, which is outside those contiguous counties.
Okay. And now you and Ms. Cox were co-parenting pretty well up until September of 2023. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
Was there some kind of incident that happened in September? And how old was time?
Yes, there was, and he was 7.
He was 7. Can you briefly describe kind of what happened in September of 2023?
Still to this day, I'm not sure what upset him. We were laying on the couch. It was a little bit later at night. I let him stay up, and he was just kind of insulting me, and I didn't know where it was coming from. So I said, hey, if you're going to be like that to me, I don't want you. He was laying on me at the time. Said, if you're going to be like that to me, I don't want you to lay on me right now. And he lost it. He started screaming, I want my mom. I want to go home. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I, inevitably called mom.
And you, at that point, I want to turn to our exhibit that is exhibit 4, please. And in this exhibit, this is right after that incident, September 23rd. were you and Paige trying to talk to each other about, what to do and how to handle spending?
Briefly, but it felt like I just wasn't getting very far with it. I would get, sometimes I'd get a message back, sometimes I wouldn't.
And if we put up, Adriana, can you please put up Exhibit 4 for me? And if not, we'll just reference it. There's an exhibit, if you could look at it, Chris, that says, basically y'all are asking for games and coordinating of wanting that. Again, Paige is saying that she's not ready yet.
Yes.
Accurate. Okay. And that kind of continued with Spencer not ready.
From what, that's only from her words, not from
Okay.
his. I never heard it from him.
Because you didn't get to talk to him. Now I want to go look over at, you were, yeah, go ahead and pull it down now, Adriana, it's fine.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's good. Now we turn over to Exhibit 5. This is just a short period of time, but all during those months, you were also messaging your son, right?
Yes.
And are these like messaging every day, trying to ask how he was, things like that? Is it true that you were doing it from like around up until April of 2024, continuing to message?
Yes.
And did you get any response back?
No.
Okay, let's turn now to, if you look at Exhibit 7 and the chart that is Exhibit 3. In May of 2025, did you begin notifying mom that you were exercising your visitation?
Yes.
And you exercised your visitation you showed up at Walmart or what was the location? Whataburger?
Yes, in Garland.
Whataburger in Garland, and that is the location for exchange within in the order. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so taking it, if you look at on May 29th at 3 p.m., did you show up at the Whataburger location?
Yes.
Was Ms. Sims there?
No.
Or Ms. Cox? No.
No.
And prior to that, you notified her by text message?
Yes.
All right. Now, also on June 6th at 3 p.m., did you show up at the Whataburger?
Yes.
Was Ms. Sims there?
No.
Did you wait around?
I wait for 30 minutes every time.
Okay, every time. So if I were to ask you these same questions on this violation chart, would your answer be the same, that you showed up at the designated time and that location and you waited for 30 minutes on each of those occurrences?
Yes, and I documented it.
And every time before, did you send a text message over to Ms. Cox that you were exercising visitation?
Yes, I did.
Did you receive any response from Ms. Cox on any of these messages?
No.
Did she inform you that there were any emergencies or anything that would prevent her from showing up?
No.
And so we do each of these. June 6th at 3 p.m. Did you show up at the Whataburger?
Yes.
You waited for 30 minutes.
Yes.
Cox didn't show. July 3rd, did you show up at the Whataburger?
Yes.
Waited for 30 minutes. Miss Cox didn't show.
Yes.
July 4th, same
Yes.
3 p.m. Whataburger, she didn't show.
Yes.
July 10th. You continued to do this all the way through October 30th of 2025 on your Thursday in the beginning of your weekend visitation.
Yes.
And at each time she did not show.
No, she didn't.
Did she return any of the messages saying why she was not going to be there?
No.
And you filed this enforcement case last July. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How has this impacted how has this impacted your relationship?
It's bad. It's hurtful.
Because you want to be in your son's life.
Yes.
And the only remedy you have is to ask this court to enforce the order that allows you to be in your son's life.
Yes, this is my only recourse.
And are you asking this court to hold Ms. Can I get a time check, please, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. You have 7 minutes and 27 seconds left.
Thank you, Your Honor. Are you asking this court to hold Ms. Sims in contempt?
Yes.
Are you asking this court to provide you with some makeup visitation in order to establish a relationship with your son again?
Yes, please.
And are you asking in that contempt, and you're leaving it up to the court's discretion with respect to jail time and the remedies that are available that you've put out in this order?
Yes.
Did you ever abandon your son?
Never. I would never abandon my son ever.
And you continuously tried to exercise visitation from 2025 every time?
Yes.
And you've received no response to your efforts?
Yes.
I passed the witness.
Thank you, counsel. Attorney Blacklock Cross.
Just a few.
Blackstock, I'm sorry.
There's just a few questions. Let me see. When you were looking at, I believe it's your exhibit 5, the text messages labeled from father to child, do you recall those?
Yes.
Did I see a few messages there? They're all one-sided. Did you ever get any response from Spencer?
No.
How did you know he had access to a device where those were going?
This is where I was talking to him previously before the incident.
When was the last time you heard anything from him on there?
It was probably, I'd say August before the incident. We would text. I would get calls from mom, when he was having a bad moment. And
okay, so around, August 2022 then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jumping to when you were going over the possession periods that you were texting, saying you were at the location. You said I documented it each time you said you waited 30 minutes. How did you document it?
I got a receipt when I showed up at the Whataburger.
Okay.
And I got a receipt when I left.
Okay. Did you not bring any of those today?
This is part of the case we built that we're presenting today. That's how she got those dates.
Okay, but there's no receipts and evidence to show that you were actually there.
I have pictures too.
Okay, we don't have any in evidence today. Okay, just making sure I wasn't missing something. Pass the witness.
Okay.
Chris, want to just clarify, you were communicating on that device with Miss Cox's iCloud with Spencer up until September of 2023, not 20.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I misanswered. I'm sorry.
2023. And when we put together but again, you messaged Miss Cox every time, you showed up every time at the place, and she was not there.
Yes.
And up until that point, do you have any reason, any other method to communicate with Miss Cox and your son?
No, just her phone number and that tablet, I guess, email.
Okay. And has Miss Cox ever given you any information about how your son is doing in school?
No.
2023. Doctor's appointment since 2023?
No.
Has she had, now you've also been paying your child support, correct?
Yes, and I'm current.
No further questions.
Okay. All right, counsel, you may call your next witness.
I'd like to call Paige Cox, please.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. And for time-keeping purposes, Attorney Lesser, you have 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Attorney Blackstock, you have 13 minutes and 28 seconds. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Cox, did you receive these text messages saying that Mr. Sims was going to exercise possession, correct?
Yes.
And you did not respond to him, correct?
We had already hired attorneys, yes.
Back in May, you hired an attorney in May of 2025?
I already had an attorney, yes.
Okay, so you did not respond to a text message. You did not show up to the location. Did you
Correct.
correct? Did you, and you hadn't filed any motion to modify?
Not yet, no ma'am.
And you did cut off all communication with Mr. Sims.
I did not cut off communication. That iPad that he's speaking of has not been around. He had not spoken to.
Unresponsive.
He had
Sustain,
not.
sustain. Wait for the next question.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you moved. Where do you reside now?
In Wills Point,
And
since
what county is Wills Point?
Hunt County.
And that is not contiguous to Dallas.
No,
It's not contiguous. Okay. Did you seek any agreement from Mr. Sims before moving?
he knew in November of 22 that I was moving and was okay with it.
Section non-responsive. Did you have an agreement with him?
No.
Okay. Do you agree that it's important to have frequent and stable contact with both parents to ensure the emotional and physical well-being of your child?
I do.
All right. And you understand that a joint managing conservator is to share rights and responsibilities and providing information,
I do.
but you did not. You did not share information.
No.
Have you listed Chris as an emergency contact at the school?
He is on all of Spencer's papers.
Okay.
Birth certificates and all.
Birth certificates at the school. Is he able to obtain records at the school as a father?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any emergencies that prevented you from showing up to any of the possession times that were listed in our the chart that we went through?
No, ma'am.
Did you encourage Spencer to go to his exercise visitations?
Spencer is very afraid.
Did you encourage Spencer to communicate with his father?
I have asked multiple times.
When was the last time you asked Spencer to engage with his father?
I've actually talked to Spencer this week about it.
So this week you did, but back in 2025, were you encouraging Spencer, encouraging a relationship?
Yes, I have.
And you understand that Spencer is not the one to determine whether or not there's possession that's exercised.
I do. Yes, ma'am.
And you had the ability to go to court to seek a
counsel.
Pardon me, Your Honor?
2 minutes.
All right. You did not, you could have asked for a change in orders back in 2025, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You did not. You did not seek a change in the orders.
I didn't know if that was a question. I apologize. No, ma'am, I have not.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay. Attorney Blackstock, would you like to ask questions of your client on cross or wait until your case in chief?
I have a few for cross.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Paige, can you clarify the timeline on the iPad? When was the last time Spencer had access to that?
That was probably the incident that we were talking about. Actually did not happen in September. It happened in June. That iPad was broken before school got out, so before May of 22.
Okay, and the June you mean is June
2023.
Okay,
yes.
And the June you're referring to is June 2023?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you talked a little bit about moving, and you said you didn't get an agreement from Mr. Sims to move. What did you two do to make the move work?
So when I moved in November of 22, I let Chris know that I was moving beforehand. He had no issues with it. We even changed our meeting place to the Buc-ee's in Terrell as a halfway point for us. And we continued to do that.
Okay, thank you. And to clarify, Ms. Lesser asked you about filing a modification. Have you done that in 2025 now?
We have filed a modification.
Yes. And we're waiting for a temporary orders hearing right now, right?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay, pass the witness.
Okay.
Did you provide Mr. Sims another that access to, I mean, that's your iCloud account. Did Spencer have another device that he could have communicated with that same ID?
He has not up until just recently. And he does have a phone now, which is why we were trying to get counseling set up and everything else
Section
for
not
Chris to start.
Sustained after he has not.
And so you did not provide any other method for Mr. Sims to be in communication with his son?
No, ma'am.
No further questions.
All right. Counsel, you have 52 seconds left. You may call your next witness.
I just want to reference, please, that we've testifying by affidavit and declaration on attorney's fees, as well as the attorney's fee summary chart that is listed on there.
Okay. And you all have stipulated to that?
Yes, we've allowed the admission. That is our end of our exhibits of 7, 8, and 9 in your packet.
Okay. All right. So no questions then, Attorney Blackstock. No questions for Attorney Lesser.
Regarding the fees, no questions.
Okay. All right. So
Hey,
Attorney,
we're trying to be good for you, Judge Bailey. Come on.
I just have to ask. I don't want to make any assumptions. Attorney Lesser, do you rest?
I do rest, Your Honor.
All right. Attorney Blackstock, you may call your first witness.
Can I have a time check, please, Your Honor?
Sure. You have 12 minutes and 8 seconds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'd like to call my client, Paige Cox.
All right. You may proceed.
Okay, Paige, let's see. Okay, so we've covered a few things, so I'll jump down a little bit to some other things. Let's see. We talked a little bit a few minutes ago about your move and how y'all you moved the exchange location. And that was in what year?
That was in 2022.
How long did y'all use that new exchange location?
Up until June of 23, which was the last time that Spencer was at Chris's house. It was not September.
Okay. What happened in June 2023 that changed things?
I had taken Spencer to his football physical that morning. I dropped Spencer off with Mr. Sims at the Buc-ee's in Terrell right after lunch. About 10 o'clock at night, I received a phone call from Mr. Sims with him telling me to come get this child, that he tried to break his effing arm, and that I needed to come get him right then. I proceeded with my husband to load up in the car at 37 weeks pregnant to Mesquite. When I arrived at Mr. Sims' house, my 6-year-old son was standing on the back porch with his backpack bawling. I put him in the car with me. I took him home. I called Mr. Sims the next day and I told him that this was going to have to change. He was going to have to work to gain Spencer's trust back because Spencer is petrified and still to this day is petrified.
Okay, and to clarify, this incident you're saying was in June 2023. That's the one that Mr. Sims mentioned as September, right?
Yes, ma'am. That is incorrect. It was in June.
How do you know it was in June for sure?
My daughter was born August 20th.
Okay, so you were
know.
pregnant.
Yes.
Okay. You said you talked to him on the phone afterwards. What happened kind of after that night moving forward? And
Chris agreed that he would take it slow and let Spencer kind of come to him. And then he disappeared for 2 years. I never heard a word from him. He knew where we lived. Spencer's been in the same school since he was in kindergarten. He did not reach out to me. And if he was reaching out to an iPad, I apologized that that iPad was no longer around. My phone number hasn't changed. He never called, never texted anything for over a 2-year span.
okay. Let me see. Do you want your son to have a relationship with his dad?
I would love for my son to have a healthy relationship with his dad.
Okay. Now, jumping forward to the point in May 2025 when Mr. Sims showed those text messages where he started texting you about starting up visits again, had he talked or seen Spencer in the past about 2 years?
No, ma'am, not a word.
Okay. And can you remind me, how old is Spencer right now?
He's 9.
Okay. When you two did talk, what did you suggest for how to get things started again?
Objection, relevance.
1 second, let me read what's the relevance, counsel?
I was just going to talk about some text messages we have between the parties that are admitted coming up next.
Yeah, and
I'm around that time.
I'm going to ask for a relevant time period. These are messages of the current litigation that's going on, not during the time frame of the violations. I mean, some of it is, but it's up to, right now we're just here for an enforcement hearing.
I mean, this is talking about May 2025, which is when your chart starts, the violations start in the text
So
messages.
it's related, so are the text messages between the parties related to the violations themselves?
Yes, they're talking about how to do visits or what to arrange and the time and where to exchange and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, overrule.
Okay, Paige, can you see the exhibits or do I need to share on the screen for you to be able to see it?
I can pull them up. That's no problems. Go ahead.
Okay, can you pull up Respondents Exhibit 2, please?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, do you see that first message? Who's in the black?
Oh, wait. I'm trying. It's loading.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Counsel, which exhibit number is this?
Respondents Exhibit 2.
2, okay.
It's text messages.
I had it.
Okay.
Here we go. I've got it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
In the black.
Okay, and what is he asking you for there?
He was asking me for May 8th, 2025, scheduled possession, and to see him at 3 p.m.
Okay, and then can you read your response from May 7th?
I can. I said Spencer is still in school and won't be home until almost after 5 p.m. It's not summer break yet. We have a game out of town tomorrow night. I did speak with him about after getting your message yesterday. He said that he would like to start with talking to you, which is what I think is very fair with the absence. I am going to have him call you Friday, and if he chooses to FaceTime you, that is his choice. I think we go from there. What time would work for you? The papers would have to be changed, and regardless, with him being school aged now.
And then do you see there where Mr. Sims replies, I can work with after 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if we can scroll down. Can you go to page 6 now in that exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you start reading your text there?
I said, I am sorry, but you have not been ignored. You have reached out less than a handful of times in an almost 2-year span, not calling on holidays or birthdays, and my number has not changed. When a parent is absent that long, it does change things, as a court sees that as well. I also have an attorney. I am more than willing to start working with you. However, his life should not have to change overnight because you've come back again. I am willing to allow him to call you and even meet you this weekend, but I am not going to make him change everything about his life. I can meet you Friday, which is no different than us switching things.
Okay, thank you. Let me see. So jumping forward a bit, since this case has been pending over the past several months, what else have you done to try to get visits with Mr. Sims going again?
I have reached out to multiple counselors. I have emails back and forth between me and counselors trying to figure out what the costs would be, how we do that. We, as you and me, have set up a step-up plan for him to start seeing him.
Objection. Juan, these are settlement discussions.
Sustain.
Can you tell me, here, pull up Exhibit 3, please. Respondents Exhibit 3.
Okay.
Can you read Mr. Sims' message from November 6th, 2025?
I'm scheduling an appointment for counseling with Megan Boyd. When would you be free to bring Spencer so we can do a session?
Do you know why you got that message? What were you doing with Megan Boyd at that time, or how did you know about her?
I knew about her because of that message. I didn't know about her until then. And then I tried to call and get a hold of her and was never able to.
Okay. When you got her number, were you able to get in contact with her office then?
I talked to the receptionist who was supposed to have the doctor call me to go over kind of what their step up program was.
Objection, hearsay, and relevance.
She said, I talked to the receptionist who was supposed to have the doctor call me to go over kind of what their step up program was. And what was your objection?
I'm going to get relevance and hearsay.
Sustain as to relevance.
Okay, let me see. After you tried to talk to that counselor, did you try anything else to try to get these visits started again in a way that would be best for Spencer?
Yes, ma'am. I found another counselor and have been trying to start that process to start a step up program with Chris.
Since when have you been making those efforts?
That was in November. That was January. Since then, since with Megan. So January.
Okay, so November with Megan and then going forward from there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me see. Has there been any progress with getting any reunification counseling set up that Mr. Sims wanted?
Objection, relevance.
Sustain.
Let's see. Is there anything you haven't mentioned yet that you can tell the court about how this has been for Spencer or what's going on with how we can get this started or what the issues are?
Spencer is having a very hard time. It is not that I want to keep Mr. Sims from his son. I would just like it to be in a setting to where it is best for Spencer for him to start seeing him again. I do not want to keep my son from having a healthy relationship, but that's exactly what it needs to be, and it needs to be healthy.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. Pass the witness.
Okay.
No further questions.
All right. Attorney Blackstock, you may call your next witness. You have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left.
Okay, let me see. I'll call Mr. Sims just very briefly.
Okay, you may proceed.
Mr. Sims, did you see the text message where you mentioned, I think her name's Megan, the counselor?
Yes.
Why did you suggest counseling with her?
I was looking at 3 counselors, and she was one of them.
And what were you hoping to do there?
Get reunification therapy going with my son.
Did you end up scheduling an appointment?
Objection, relevance.
Sustain.
Pass the witness.
All right. Anything further from this witness?
Sorry.
Attorney Lesser?
No.
Okay. All right. Attorney Blacklock, you may I keep calling you Blacklock. Sorry. Attorney Blackstock, you may call your next witness.
People usually want it to be Blackwell. So that's no further witnesses other than just myself, like Miss Lesser with attorney's fees, but otherwise no one else.
Okay. And is it the same agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right.
And otherwise, if I have a little time, I have just a brief closing, but otherwise I can rest.
All right, you may proceed.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Let me see if Attorney Lesser wanted to give a closing. You have 52 seconds.
52. Yes, I will give a closing.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, we're here today on a very cut and dried issue of whether or not possession was accessed. The big highlight I would like to say is that it was unilaterally, she decided to move. My client was trying to co-parent in the best way possible. There's been zero encouragement from mom during this time period of having her son even talk or communicate. She disabled the device. She didn't provide any other further contact. She's provided no updates, and she acknowledges that she did not show for any of the visitations and that the visitations were pursuant to the decree or to the order. I keep saying decree, order.
Thank you, counsel. All right. Attorney Blackstock.
Okay. So over the past, before this enforcement was filed, Mr. Sims had no contact with the child and very little contact with respondent after the incident that happened in June 2023 when Miss Cox picked Spencer up from the porch crying late at night. My client knows this has been a problem. She wants her child to have a relationship with his dad, but has serious worries about after that incident. Whatever that happened that night, she wasn't there. She only saw the aftermath, has caused some stress for the child, and she's worried about just throwing him back over there for full weekends again, which is why she was trying to work with Mr. Sims to get things started again and get them talking and reunification counseling like he suggested, to try to get things going again. Her phone number didn't change. There was nothing saying that she had to have the iPad for the child. It's just an iPad that no longer was available and didn't work anymore. Basically, we're just asking the court today to kind of look in that. We know this is a pretty black and white issue a lot of the time in terms of visits showing up versus not showing up. But here there's some gray area after the incident that happened where Miss Cox had to drive at, I believe she said 11 p.m. to pick up her son on a Saturday evening during his dad's weekend. That has distressed the child. So we're looking for a way to get things started again with dad, but in a way that's best for the child and works for everyone, and make sure that he is safe and healthy and happy and able to go to his dad's house without such distress and whatever happening again.
Thank you, counsel. All right. This is classic in what happens when parties stop following court orders, and the court encourages people to to come up with their own schedule, right? Because I think that works best for everyone. The issue lies when that agreement no longer works. You automatically default to the court order. So at the end of the day, regardless to what happened with the child, if it was not brought to the court's attention, no one, neither Ms. Cox or Mr. Sims, had the authority to modify unilaterally this court order. That's where you get in trouble. And Ms. Cox, that's essentially why you're going to be held in contempt. You violated the court order. It's expressed right here in your text messages. Even if an incident ensued, you had a responsibility to let the court intervene. When you took that matter into your own hands, you violated the court order. Your own text messages say it. And just so I am clear, counselors, reunification therapists, they have no authority to give step-up visitation unless given that through me, a court order. So getting counseling is great. Reunification is great. However, no one gets to make that decision outside of a court order. If no judge besides myself or my associate judge, Judge Lee, gave anyone the authority to change a court order, neither of you have the authority to do that, okay? So I am going to find that you are in violation of, and by your own admission, you're in violation. You're in contempt for violation 1, which is moving outside of the geographic restriction. Again, you have to ask a court order to do that, because when you move, even if dad agreed in the beginning, once there was no longer an agreement, you are held to that court order. So you moved well beyond the geographic restriction, because I believe Will's point is on your way to Houston, right?
No.
Will, where is that at?
I mean, it's right past Quinlan, so from Terrell, like 15 minutes. So
Okay, maybe I'm thinking about something else, but even still, that's not contiguous to Dallas County. Contiguous is like Collin, Kaufman, what's another one? Johnson, Ellis. You move well beyond the geographic restriction. So even if he wanted to exercise, he has to drive even further to get to the child. And that's not fair. It's not fair to you to have to put the child in the car and drive that far. It's not fair to him to have to meet you. And it's not fair to that child. And now he's in the middle of it. He's 9 years old. And he was left with these feelings. Mr. Sims, if what she says is true about there was a break in your visitation, the court is not berating you or anything. You have your reasons. All I say is you have to stay consistent in your child's life, because whatever time period you've been gone, whatever memories he was left of with whatever happened, that's what he's left of. And those feelings are real. He has those feelings. So with you not being around, even if it was something outside of your control, all he has are those feelings. Okay. So I want everybody to understand that it's not fair to the child. Mom, you're also being held in contempt for violations 2, violation 3, violation 4, violation 6. And essentially that's based off your own testimony as well as the text messages. Attorney's fees are going to be awarded in the amount of $6,500.50. That is going to be allowed to have makeup time. Counsel, I need the one thing did I miss it in the summary of requested relief, the amount of days that dad was asking for in makeup time?
Yeah, I didn't put in an exact amount of days in there. And obviously I need to fill in this order. So I mean, there's so many days of makeup time.
It's over 200 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, I need some makeup time. And mom, whatever the makeup time that the court is going to give, you're going to do all the driving, because you moved out there and it's not fair for dad to make that drive. So you're going to be responsible for doing all the driving. Did I say the amount of attorney's fees? The amount, yes.
Yes.
$6,005.50. I misspoke. So $6,005.50.
I couldn't make it like a better number, huh? Look, I take out all the admin things. Like, I'm very precise, Judge Bailey. What can
And I appreciate that.
I don't know how I got to that number, but I did.
Okay. How soon could you get me the makeup days? Because I need to outline how that's going to look. I'm going to try my best to mirror what has been taken away from dad, but it won't be exact.
Sarah and I can probably talk. How many days makeup? Are we getting 200 days for makeup time?
When did you want to count the days from, Your Honor, from that first, let me see, what, violation 2, May 29th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the way that I'm thinking of it right now, mom, you're more than likely not going to have any of the summer. That's only fair to make up dad's missed time, or to at least catch up most of it, because the summer would only give him about 60 days or maybe even less, just because no, it may give him about 60 days because Father's Day falls in that, which wouldn't count because that's a holiday. And counsel, how soon can you get the order to me?
I would like to say today. I would like to say today, but let's be realistic. Friday.
Friday is good. I'll put you on the entry docket for Friday.
Okay, that is fine. I have
What's Friday?
trials tomorrow and Wednesday, so yeah.
Okay. And Friday's date is the 17th. All right.
And is that with Judge Lee or with you?
Judge Lee.
Okay.
So if you all can get the order circulated and reviewed and you get it signed off, if you sign it, no one has to sign it. The only person's signature that matters is mine. So if you all can get it circulated, at least look at it, and there's an agreement to it, and you submit it, you'll be removed from Friday's date. You don't have to show up.
Okay, I think it's just trying to coordinate the makeup time, which would be done over, I was going to say over summer and then add in on spring break.
Okay. And there may be some modification to the holiday schedule as well, because it's if it's 2025, that means he didn't get any holiday. So there will be some modification to the holiday too.
For clarification, did you want us to come up with a schedule, or you just want the days to count and you'll come up with how you want the makeup to happen? Okay.
The days to count.
Okay.
And I'll come up with it.
Okay.
All right. If there's nothing further, you all are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You all have a good day.